I want to be more confident. I want to succeed. I want to work on me and grow. All right. That's why I go to the gym 3 to 4 days a week. That's why I put out these videos. That is why I do so many different things. Go on adventures and force myself to talk to people that I normally want to talk to. Because I want to grow. I want to become more confident in myself. And by all means, I am 10 billion times more confident than I was this time last year, the year before that. I am way more confident than I ever have been. But that's why I am doing things. I want to become more confident myself. Hell, I just left the gym. It's been an hour and a half in there, and it's now 7:03 at night on a Sunday. I normally don't be going to the gym to that. Normally I'm like a 5 a.m. kind of guy. But today I say, you know what? I'm going to go. While it's a little busy, I'm going to get a hell of a workout in. And I did. So that's why I do these things. I want to get more confident. That's why I go to the gym. That's why I put out these videos. That's why I wrote a book. That's why I'm doing all these different things. Book's coming out November 1st. Frederick One-Legged Goose. Stay tuned to that. And I am going to keep on doing things and working on myself and figure out ways I need to grow, become a better person, become a better me, and become more confident in who I am. I want y'all to do the same. So for now, let's get to the main subject of this video. 6 books out of my personal collection that I think everyone should read on their self-improvement journey. These 6 books are just 6 books out of my personal collection. There's other books I've read that might be better, but I don't currently own them. These are 6 books that I currently own that I decided to keep because I want to reread again one day, or because they motivate me in some way where I probably want to reread them again one day. So let's get into this video right now. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. Y'all, this book, I read it back in January. Started in December, finished in January, and I can tell you without a doubt, it's one of my most favorite books I have ever read. Mark Manson is a modern day philosopher. I'm telling you, a lot of his I guess teachings, the best way of putting it, kind of resemble a lot of Adler's philosophies, but I'm cool with that because Adler is someone I also relate to a lot when it comes to philosophy. So I like Mark Manson a lot. I used to watch his YouTube channel before I even knew he had a book. And now I know he has a book, I had to read it. I've actually read both of his books. Second one, Everything's Fucked, is not as good as his first one, which is, Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck is such a great book. It's all about just not giving a fuck in a very strategic way. It's about not caring about all the bullshit out there, like what other people think of you, and like, oh, I gotta do this because if I don't do this, I'm messing up. And it's not about that. It's about not keeping your brain occupied with things that truly do not matter. It's about not letting things affect you in such a way to where you're bogged down all the time. It's about finding your true purpose through doing things that make you happy and things that fill you full of pride without caring about what everyone else thinks around you. Not caring about, okay, I'm supposed to do this in life. I'm supposed to go to college. I'm supposed to make my parents proud. I'm supposed to do X, Y, and Z. No, it's about not giving a fuck about all of that. It's about narrowing your sights. It's about cutting out all the bullshit and honing in on yourself and reaching your full potential. And I love that. Mark Manson, he talks about a lot of great things. Honestly, he really does. Even just in this book alone, he talks about so many other things that are great things you need to know. And his podcast, he talks about, how to be good at marriage, how to be good at life, how to reach motivation. You get motivation through action, not the other way around. You don't reach action through motivation. A lot of people try to do that and they never do nothing in their lives. And he talks about this. He talks about how just to be a better person altogether, and I love that. That's why you should check out his podcast and check out his book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. I rate this book a 10 out of 10. Everybody should read it. I have even purchased this book for other people. I have purchased this book in Spanish for people who only speak Spanish. I have purchased this book several times. And y'all need to go get yourself a copy. I don't care if it's from a half price book to Barnes & Noble. Go get yourself a copy. The next book is Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I'm probably butchering his name, but I'm okay with that, because his book is so damn good. You gotta check it out. It is called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and it's all about growing your financial self. It's all about financial literacy, something we all need to know and learn. It's about, building assets instead of building liabilities. It teaches you the difference between an asset and liability, and where most of society sees as certain assets that are actually liabilities. And it talks about how to just create a financial plan for yourself and how to grow yourself financially in all the great ways. I count this as a self-development book, a self-improvement book, simply because it changes your mindset on finances. It changes your mindset on how you should save money and invest money and do all these different things. And it talks about simply just raising yourself up in the financial world. And we all need to raise ourselves up and change our mindsets on so many things in life. And doing that in the financial world is also another side we should do it in. And let's face it, school does not teach us finances. School does not teach us how to be financial literate. I didn't start learning this stuff until I started working at a bank. And then I found this book. I found it while I was actually on a group hike with a bunch of very intellectual people inside the community I was living at the time. And this one guy, business owner, an entrepreneur, said, hey, here's a list of books you should read. One of them being Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And the story is all about, the whole book, it's financial literacy told in a story about him growing up with a poor dad, and then his friend's rich dad became his rich dad and taught him how to build a business, how to become financially successful. And that's what we all need to learn. Because a lot of us, let's face it, we are raised with poor dads. Even if our dads make money, they're still poor dads. So, and even with a rich dad, it doesn't matter if you have a rich dad or poor dad. You should read this book and learn about the finances and listen to his story, because it's a great, entertaining story on top of that. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I give it a solid 8 out of 10. Maybe 8.5. I'll give it 8.5 out of 10. Must read. Next up on the list, we have A Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. This book it's like half story, half motivational philosophy. So the first half of the story of the book itself is a story about Viktor Frankl and being inside of a concentration camp. Actually, I believe he went to 2 concentration camps. And it's a horrible story about the horrors of concentration camps. It really is, but it's good to know these things because it's history. But he lines it up to talk about the second half of the book, which is finding meaning. The whole book is about, if you don't have meaning, you will die. He talks about how a lot of people in the concentration camps, once they lost their meaning, their will to live, their purpose, once they lost their purpose, they would die very quickly. And he may have lost purpose, but he found new purpose. And he made sure he had purpose somewhere, somehow. Even just imaginary purpose. He made sure there was a purpose to himself. And, he made sure there was a purpose to himself. And because of that, he had the will to endure so much hardship, so much torture and gruesomeness, and watching hundreds of millions and thousands of people die around him, watching some of the most horrific things in history happen, because he had the will to live, because he had purpose, he had meaning. He found this. And the book I found it in the philosophy section. I thought it'd be in the self-help section. It's actually in the philosophy section. And it talks a little bit about religion and stuff like that. So don't let that scare you off, okay? A lot of people get scared off when they mix religion with self-help or philosophy. Don't let that scare you off on this one. Trust me, it is a great book. I give it a 9 out of 10. I read it fairly quickly, actually. It's a pretty quick read overall. It's a really good book. Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. There we go. Viktor Frankl. I hope I said that right, if I'm remembering his name correctly. Once again, great book. The first half, it is a little hard to read here and there because it talks about some gruesome stuff. You know, not really gruesome, just some really, really fucked up stuff. So you should check it out. You might like it. I think you will. Check it out. You know, Manson's from Eating. Okay, now we have The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Okay, so this is like your traditional self-help book or philosophy book whatsoever. It's a book that's written, I don't even know how long ago, a long time ago. It is very good. I think that and the Book of the Five Rings are two books every person should read. Both are written a long time ago by, you know, very, very intelligent people when it came to combat and war. And the Book of the Five Rings, by the way, great book. That book you should read just because it teaches you principles on life and how to win at life itself through a very untraditional way of teaching. But we're not talking about that book, so I don't have it in my collection right now. So let's switch back to The Art of War. So The Art of War by Sun Tzu, it's all about war. That's what it is. It's about war. It teaches you how to win at war. But the lessons inside of it, the lessons of how to win a war, you can use in your own personal life on how to win the war with yourself, how to win in business, how to win in just becoming the better version of yourself. And that's what's so great about Sun Tzu's The Art of War. You can really dive in, and you can read this really quickly, by the way. It's a quick read. You can read this really quickly and just learn so much. Take notes, you know, scribble some things down and learn, like, okay, so I have to, if my enemy is doing this, I should do this. And if I want them to do that, then I have to do this. And you can take that knowledge, you can use it in so many aspects of your life. So when you're reading it, you really got to think, how can I apply this to my current problem? How can I apply this to X, Y, and Z? How can I apply this to my growth in my own struggles in life and my own purpose-driven mindset? That's how you can take this book. How can I use this for my growth? Have that mindset when you walk into reading this book, and I promise you, you're going to learn some things from it. You're going to take some things from it, and you're going to become a person with a different mindset in certain little minute ways thanks to reading it, and you'll have a better understanding of war, for one, better understanding of how to handle yourself with your enemies or your people you are combating against, either in business or mentally, intellectually, just sports, heck, anything. You can literally apply this to anything. So I really suggested I give it a solid, I'm going to give it a 6.5, maybe a 7 out of 10. Now, bonus points, Book of the Five Rings, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10, great book. But we're not talking about that book. We're not talking about that book. Sun Tzu, The Art of War, 6.5, maybe a 7 out of 10. It is a good read. You should read it. It's super quick. Find it at your local bookstore. Go to a used bookstore and grab it. Support your local shops, local bookstores. Support them. Don't go to the big box retail for books like this. Find a used copy. That's what you got to do. I'm pointing a lot. Yes, sir. On to the next book. Who Moved My Cheese? That is a damn good book. By Spencer Johnson, I think. I don't have the book in front of me, so I can't remember 100%. But it's called Who Moved My Cheese? It is the quickest read on this list, okay? I actually read it at work one day. I was sitting on my boss's desk at my last job. I was getting ready to move states and change my entire life around. And the assistant manager there, who sat next to me at my job, she was a wonderful woman named Rachel. Wonderful woman. I loved her to death. She said, Ryan, you need to read this book before you leave. You need to read this book. This is going to help you on your journey. So I picked it up off my boss's desk one day and read it literally that day. Like between customers that day, I read it. It was that quick of a read. I give it honestly, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. An 8 out of 10, because it's just a lovely story about two mice and two little people the size of mice running around a maze. You know, the book just gets you It's designed to get you comfortable with change and to embrace change and sometimes even look for change. You know, it's called Who Moved My Cheese? And it's all about two mice and two little people looking for cheese in a maze. It's a lovely little story, and it really helped me when I had to decide, okay, I'm changing my entire life. You know, I'm leaving everything behind, my friends, family, my lifestyle, leaving all behind and moving to a whole new state, to live in a whole new environment. Everything's changing, and this book helped me through that. It was great. In fact, the day I moved, I stopped by a bookstore in Texas and I bought a copy of that book. That's how good it was. That's why I am putting it on this list, because I bought a copy when I moved here 10 months ago. I said, this book was so great, it helped me so much, I have to own a copy. So I really highly suggest that you also get yourself a copy of Who Moved My Cheese. Go to your local bookstore, pick up a copy of Who Moved My Cheese, or just find a copy online and order it. You know, it's such a small book, you know, it's probably gonna be very cheap. I think I paid like $5 for it, you know, pretty good. The actual story itself, it's very entertaining, I'll have to say. It's very entertaining. The name of the characters, you're gonna be like, oh, that's funny, I get it. The joke there, you know, it's good. You know, it's humorful, it's entertaining, and it's very educational, and it will help your mindset shift towards a more change is okay type of mindset. You know what I mean? It's for lack of better terms, it makes you more okay with change. So, Who Moved My Cheese? Good book, 8 out of 10. Check it out. How to Grow by Marcus Bridgewater. All right, so this book right here, I personally love, and I give it a solid 9 out of 10. Solid 9 out of 10. And the reason I love this book so much and give it a 9 out of 10 is simply because it is all about how to grow as a person and how to work in a garden. It takes self-help and self-development and puts a gardening twist on it. I love it. He even talks about my favorite houseplant, pothos. I love pothos. I have 3 pothos. I love them. He talks about them. He gives stories from his own life, stories from his childhood with his grandma, and stories of him being an adult as a teacher. All these different stories of him struggling, all this other stuff, and he uses it all, and gardening, lots of gardening, as metaphors for growth. And he breaks down a lot of great self-development practices that you should take in. And it's just, I just love it. It's beautiful. Okay. So I like plants. I'm not a gardening kind of guy, but I do like plants. Like house plants. I've had pepper plants that I've grown from seedlings. I've had pothos. I've had all sorts of weird purple plants and all sorts of different plants in my lifetime. I love plants, and I love growth, self-development, self-help, knowledge in general. I love. And How to Grow by Marcus Bridgewater is the perfect hybrid of a book about plants and a book about self-development and growing as the person you are. He literally teaches you how to grow. It's in the title. How to grow. It's in the title. So check out How to Grow by Marcus Bridgewater. I think he has a second book that either just came out or is coming out soon. I need to look into that. I remember seeing it online like a year ago saying it was going to be released soon, but I haven't looked into it since. But I'm going to check into that here today, actually. I'm going to look into that. So, Marcus Bridgewater, How to Grow. Check that book out. It's very good. 9 out of 10. I almost said 8 out of 10. No, 9. 9 out of 10. You heard. It's a good book. And I ain't got much else to say about it. That is the facts. And that wraps up this video so far. So I hope you enjoyed this book selection. I hope you read every single one of those books. And I hope you right there, continue to grow how you need to grow in your journey and keep working on your self-development and keep on going. Just keep on going. Don't stop and keep growing how you need to grow. See you in the next video.